McAnally. I'm a regional account manager with Panorama Antennas. I cover the Pacific Northwest, and I'm going to get started on this pretty fast because I know we don't have a lot of time. I appreciate y'all listening in. Okay, so a little bit about us. We were founded in 1947. Our headquarters is in London, England. We're one of Europe's largest manufacturers of mobile and portable radio or antennas. Our manufacturing, assembly, and warehouse are all in London, and then our subsidiaries are throughout the world. I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, is where our U.S. office is. Our product categories, we are in public safety with radio and antennas, utility and energy companies, transportation, M2M, IoT, in-building, and then consumer wireless and Wi-Fi and personal LTE are our product categories. As far as our research and development, everything is in-house. We have a state-of-the-art research and development facility in London. We tool and prototype all our own products there with our lathes and milling machine. We have a 3D printer to prototype antennas fast. We have all the materials to make the antennas there with our chambers to test the antennas to make sure that our data sheets are accurate when we send out our antenna information. As far as our global certifications, we have certifications from Europe and the USA. And these are just a few of the ones that we have that we're certified in. What I want to be talking to you about is our 5G capabilities that we just structured out with our new antennas. The designs in them have improved our bandwidth, they're reducing internal loss, improved Wi-Fi performance. As far as the materials and the housing of the antennas themselves, it's polycarbonate, we're IK10 impact protection, and then IP69K ingress protection. And then they all have a rubber seal and gasket skirt. Our first one is going to be our 2x2 MIMO LTE antenna. They have the two LTE elements in there. You can get up to 6 Wi-Fi elements out of this antenna, and you can put a GPS option in there with as well, with a 26 dB gain, with advanced saw and filtering notches, so that you don't get humming in that GPS. Our antennas here are ground plane independent, so you can put them on a plastic or aluminum roof and you don't have to worry about having a ground plane to get that signal. They're defined isolation and correlation. Single hole installation is the big one, so you don't have multiple antennas on top of wherever you're mounting this. And they're rugged, public safety grade, like I said before, IP69 and IK10 protection. So that is our 2 LTE antenna, and these antennas all range between 600 megahertz and 6,000 megahertz. So they run 6 to 6 gigahertz. The next one is our 4 LTE antenna. It's the same as the other one, only it has 2 more LTE elements inside of it. So if you're running a router or a modem that has 4 ports for that LTE possibility, this is the antenna you would like. You can get up to 6 Wi-Fi elements in this as well. Same thing, GPS with advanced saw and notch filters. This one is also ground plane independent as well, so you can put it on a non-metal or plastic roof. Same thing, defined isolation and correlation. And once again, single hole installation and with the IP grade protections. These come in black or white are the colors that they come in. And then our newest antenna that will be out later this year will be our mobile shark fin. We're known for our sleek OEM shark fin style antennas. This one will be covering that 600 to 6,000 megahertz range. Before the antennas range between 700 and 3,800 megahertz. So it's a little bit more of an enlarged fin, just to fit that element in there to make sure that it ranges from that 600 to 6,000 megahertz range. But it's going to be a 2 cellular antenna. Up to 4 Wi-Fi elements are in it. You can also have the GPS option in there. This one is not ground plane independent, so you would want this on a metal roof in order to get that ground plane, but it's still single hole installation, and it's also comes in the availability to add a two-way radio wire and whip to it if you want to hook it up to a mobile radio, much like a Harris or Motorola radio. And it fits between the ribs of most or of all the interceptor vehicles that are out there. And then we have a new tri-band antenna kit that we just put together for tri-band radios. The kit number is the GPS BAX Tri-Mot 5. And what it comes with is it comes with one of our GPS-B Sharky antennas with a single LTE, single Wi-Fi radio. And then that would plug into the, the radio, whatever the tri-band radio is, the Motorola or the Harris or Kenwood. And then our tri-band whip, which runs all VHF, UHF, and 7800 frequencies, is a flexible rod, would screw into the back of that GPS-B antenna, IP66 rated. And yeah, you can do cell, Wi-Fi, and GPS and radio with all 3 frequencies out of this particular antenna. And then just to kind of show you exactly, so with the public safety plug and play antenna solutions, you have your Cradle Point IBR 900, 1700, or your Sierra Wireless routers. And with the first option up there on top, you can run 2 cell in the back of that IBR 900 or 2 Wi-Fi and GPS. The second one is built more for like a Cradle Point IBR 1700 or any 4 LTE router with multiple Wi-Fi and GPS options. And then the bottom one is our shark fin style, which also has the ability to run the 2-way radio. Obviously, it can be plugged into a router and run radio all at the same time. A true all-in-one antenna. That's what we kind of go for. We want to make sure that we reduce the antenna farm on top of people's cars and vehicles when they get these antennas. And just kind of some pictures of how we have where we would have the cars, the antennas set up, either on police interceptors, fire engines, ambulance, EMS, covert options, whatever your situation, we can put the antenna on. And then for transportation as well, either city or long length buses, school buses, and trains, public transportation. We're seeing a huge uptick, obviously, in the school bus department, with school buses upgrading to routers and antennas to broadcast Wi-Fi signals into like apartment complexes where there's limited internet accessibility for students that are working or they're going to school from home, doing online classes. So we've seen a lot of that in recent months. And then that concludes my presentation. I know it was fast, but I know we didn't have a lot of time. And then I'll hold the floor open if there's any questions. And if not, I can type in my information. I have our head office information here, I'm sorry, with our different global locations and phone numbers, and I'll leave that up.
Thank you, Brian. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself or type it into the chat and we'll relay that to Brian. We have about 8 minutes until the next session, so there's plenty of time if anyone has any questions or thoughts. All right, very good. Oh, thank you very much, Brian.